Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Now let's move on and look at some questions. First of all, what is the function of a stem? Now there are different functions and various functions of a stem. First of all, it keeps the plant upright, right? So it supports the weight of the plant, right? Apart from that, it bears different parts of the plant. That means, what are these different parts? These are leaves, these are branches, flowers, right, and fruits. All of these are there on the stem, right? It all grows on the stem, right? Apart from that, it helps in transportation of water and minerals, right? So transportation of all the materials that are there from one part to the other is the function of the stem, right? So these are the important functions, and I hope you'll remember these important functions, because it's very important to understand, because these functions explains to you that how or why is the stem so important, right? Now, moving on to the next question. Which of the following is not a primary function of stem? So, conduction of water, photosynthesis, formation of branches, bears, flowers and fruits. So, photosynthesis is not a primary function. It happens definitely when the plant is young and the stem is green. And wherever else the stem is green, photosynthesis occurs. But this is not the primary function, right? Primary function is conduction of water, formation of branches and bearing of flowers and fruits, right? Moving on to the next question. Can the stem of a plant be compared with the street with two-way traffic? Give reason. So definitely it can be said as two-way traffic, because first movement is from the root, right, to the leaf. So first movement is from root to the leaf, and the other movement which occurs is from the leaf to root and different parts of the plant, right? So as you can see, it acts as a two-way street. One is going upwards and the other is going downwards and to the different parts of the plant, right? So in this way, the stem can be compared to a two-way street traffic, right? Name the part of plant which produces food, name the process. So the part of plant which produces food is called as the leaf, and the process is known as photosynthesis, right? And it's a very important process for the sustenance of life on earth. Now let's move on to the next question. Which of the following is not a correct match? So petiole attaches the leaves to the stem, so it's correct. Lamina is the green flat part of the leaf, that is true. Margin gives shape to the leaf, that is absolutely right. Veins causes transpiration, so this is not the correct match, because veins do not do this function, right? There are different functions of veins, right? So this is the wrong match, so that means it's a correct answer. Will a leaf taken from potted plant kept in dark room for a few days turn blue-black when tested for starch? So the answer is no. Give reason for your answer. So the reason is, first of all, the leaf that you have kept for a dark room, in a dark room for a few days, will not give the starch, because there is no photosynthesis occurring in it, right? Leaf needs sunlight for the process of photosynthesis, and because you've kept the plant in dark room for a few days, that means no photosynthesis had occurred during those few days, and that's the reason why the leaf has not produced any food, and that's why it will not turn blue-black, right? Now moving on to the next question. What is leaf venation? So to define leaf venation, so we can say that the design that is made by the leaf veins is called as leaf venation. Right? And this leaf venation is of two types. One is parallel and the other is reticulate. So these are the two types of leaf venation that we observe. What is the broad green part of the leaf called? So it is called as the leaf lamina. Right? So this is the broad green part of the leaf and is known as the leaf lamina. If a plant has leaves with reticulate venation, what kind of roots will it have? So we saw that there is a certain relationship between the venation and the root system of the plant. So reticulate venation, the leaves that have reticulate venation, the plant would be tap root. Right? Now, moving on to the next question. Which of the following combination of features would you observe in grass? So, first of all, the grass has parallel venation. So, whenever there is a parallel venation, the root system that we see is the fibrous root system. So, this is the combination that we have, that is parallel venation and fibrous root system. Right? Any two functions of the root. So, two functions of the root is first absorption of water and minerals. Right? Apart from that, anchoring the plant in soil. Right? These are the two important functions of a root system. Name the different types of roots. So there are two types of root. First is the tap root and other is the fibrous root system. What are the parts of a flower? So like in the previous session we have studied about the different parts of a flower. Let's just enumerate that what are the different parts. So the first part which you notice is the petal, right? This is the brightly colored part which is very attractive and is a part with the help of which you are able to identify a particular plant, right? Then you have sepals, right? Then further you have stamens. Stamen is further divided into anther and filament, right? Then next you have pistil, and pistil is further divided into stigma, style and ovary, right? So in this way we see that there are basically 4 different parts, and further within these parts what are the differentiations or different parts that are there, right? So I hope you will remember this whole these names of the different parts of a flower. In which part of a flower you will find ovary? So like we had discussed in the previous session, we saw that there is a part that is pistil which has 3 parts, that is style, stigma and then ovary, right? So ovary is found in pistil, right? So pistil is the answer. Which of the following term constitute the female part of the flower? So students, we had studied about the stamen and the pistil, and stamen is the male part of the flower, right? So stamen is the male part, whereas pistil is the female part, right? So now let's see that what are the female parts. So first of all, sepal, petal, these are not the part of the pistil. Then we have stigma, style and ovary. So definitely the answer, the option number B is the answer for the question. That is, the female parts are stigma, style and ovary, which is present inside a pistil, right? Now, what is the function of petals and sepals? So when we talk about petals, these are the attractive part and are used basically to attract the insects, right? This is done for the sake of pollination. This is a term which you will study in your higher classes. Basically, petals are very colorful. Different colors are there, and these help in attracting the insects towards the flower. So sepal has the protective function. That means when the flower is in the bud stage, right? So the sepal protects the delicate petals, right? And then later on when the bud blooms, so sepal is found underneath these petals, right? So the protective function, there is, the sepals have a protective function, right? Now let's fill in some blanks. The small green leaves at the base of a flower are known as, so these are known as sepals. These are the leafy structure, leaf-like structure of a flower. During the bud stage, it covers the flower, and when it blooms, it is found at the base of the flower. The swollen basal part of the pistil is the ovary, right? So if you remember, we had talked about the pistil. So this was the swollen part. This was what? This was the stigma. This was style, and this part, this swollen part, is the ovary, right? Which bears and within the ovary we saw there were ovules, right? So the answer is ovules. Stamen has two parts. So stamen had two parts. One was the anther and other was the filament. The young unopened flower is termed as bud. Right? So unopened flower is termed as bud, and bud is covered with sepals, right? So in this way, students, we saw the different parts of a plant. We talked about the roots, the stems, the leaves, and also the flower. I hope with the help of this chapter, you will be able to recognize all these parts and you will be able to understand their importance.